Hi, how are y'all this morning? Sorry. I hope everybody's well. Joelle! Oh, wait, how are you? It's been forever. I'm so glad you could make it. Sorry. It's a Girl Scout little text. Let's see, what is everybody saying? You've been contracting for over a year now at your current firm. Will I get a permanent job there in the near future? If not, do you see a permanent job offer elsewhere soon? Okay, we'll jump right in then. Oh, I've got a couple more people on the list. Let me just update that. Hey, Cindy, how are you? So I've got blah, 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 blah. Felicia after Charlie says, and then Regine. Let me just put my phone on Do Not Disturb so you don't have to hear all those dings. There you go. Oh, no, it's totally fine. You're not. Don't worry. I started reading it thinking like y'all were just chatting. I was like, oh, okay. So, but I'll answer yours and then I want to go back and talk about like some manifesting stuff because y'all are sleeping on it. That's all I'm saying if you're not doing it. Regine. Let me just do that because who says Joelle and Nicole. Okay. Oh, okay. She didn't put in a question, so you'll have to put it in and I'll change the name up. Thank you for letting me know, Celeste. I got it, Nicole. Okay, so let's update this then. Celeste, Regine, Joelle, Nicole. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anybody. I'll get to you in just a second, Celeste. But thank you. Just go ahead and leave it there. That's fine. Okay, I think I got everybody now. Why is this still dinging? Shh. You're not supposed to ding. Hold on. Literally just put my phone down looking for my phone. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Hang on. Let me see. Sorry, y'all. Never mind. Oh, well, we're just going to figure it out. You may have to deal with things. Okay, I think that's everybody there on the list. Okay. We'll just start answering questions. And if you want to hang out and listen to me yammer, please do. Sorry, I'm just, first of all, oh, Jesus. I just can't. I have a headache this morning and that was just a little too bright in my eyeballs. Okay. I'm not perplexed by your question. I'm just figuring out the energy. So it's interesting to me because um, I feel like your energy is like not super connected to that job, meaning I don't love it. It feels okay. It feels like I get good money from it. I like the stability of it. Um, but I don't feel like this is the love of my life kind of job. Like I would do it like that feeling of like, when you get a really good job or you really love something that you do and it's like I would do it for free if I didn't have to pay for bills. Like that's how I felt about nursing when I first started. That's how I feel about this. Like honestly, if I didn't have to worry about paying for anything, I would do this for free. If it wasn't about like the energy drain and suck that you get because what you start to realize is like people take things more seriously if they're invested in it. And people, I don't know, it's a weird dynamic, but I love doing what I do. And I actually have to like stop myself and not read for people for free. Meaning like somebody came up to me on the ice the other day. It was somebody who I've brought somebody else over who's her coach and was like started to tell me a story about her connection to her grandmother. And I think she was like thinking I would just like randomly start giving her a reading and being like, yeah, sure, let me. And I'm like, I'm in the middle of my own lesson. So I was like, oh, that's really lovely. And just, validated. Like that's what a lovely connection she had with this person. Because I was like, oh, I'm like, literally, you're asking me to stop what I'm doing at work. But I love what I do. So again, I have to like stop myself and recognize boundaries. But I don't feel that for you here. I feel like it's like it doesn't feel like a terrible job, right? It doesn't feel like I hate it. In 18 months, I feel like you'll get an offer. But I don't feel like it's a great offer. I almost feel like it's like not 18 months from now, sorry, 18 months after you started. So like 6 months from now. So here's the caveat with the way I believe that the world works. I don't believe that I'm doing anything like magical in the sense that I'm just reading the energy of what you put out there, right? So my beliefs are that our beliefs create our reality, right? Our belief systems force reality to show up the way we believe. And sort of like when we are in not a space of either not feeling like we deserve more, and you'll see how the world shows up that way in all different kinds of way, or believing that things are harder than they like things come with much more work or something like that, then it has to be that way. Or if we like when people ask me like, oh, when am I going to meet the love of my life, I'm like, well, your energy isn't really shifted towards that right now, meaning like you're not even really thinking about the possibility like that's what you really want. It's just this like weird idea out there that it should be that way, but then not really, like you can't even imagine being with another person. And so the idea is like what I'm telling you is like basically start thinking about being there and them offering you that job, because it still feels like this idea is swimming out there that you have no control over, um, that you don't have any sort of say in it, and you do. I don't feel like I feel like intuition, manifesting, and self-concept all go together, right? So it's not that you can't manifest or have intuition without a great self-concept, because I did it for years, right? Like I had a very shitty self-concept for a very long time. Um, and I was able to manifest all the time, and I was able to connect with source, whatever you want to call it, since forever. But the self-concept part is like, how healthy is that communication, right? So your manifesting is your expressive communication, your intuition is your receptive communication, and your self-concept is like, how healthy is that, right? Or what does that communication look like, right? Because I don't know. Health is subjective. So is abundance, right? So my idea for you is, and take it or leave it, whatever, is that like start playing around with the idea that you can have whatever you want and just don't get deterred by what's in front of you. Like, no, this is mine. Like they're totally offering me a job and they're like, oh, well, we just don't have the money. Be like, whatever, circumstances don't matter. Or they totally have the money to give me the offer that they want. It's even better than I could have ever imagined. And like sit for a few minutes every day and just think those thoughts, right? Encourage those thoughts. And the minute like something that's counter to that, don't think like, oh my God, that negative thought is going to happen. It's not. It's your most consistent thoughts that come up. It's that idea of like you want a tangible example of that. It's like when you're starting a new health program or you're starting a new physical activity, right? So learning a new sport or whatever, you're not great at it right away. And you don't have the muscle memory for that ability right away. And the muscles don't pop out right away. And it's not, I have to show up 150% every day, or I'm not going to have the gains. It's like, what are you doing consistently on a regular basis, right? And same thing with your diet. It's not like, oh my God, like I was talking to somebody and she was like, I ate so terribly the other day. I was like eating all this candy and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, so she's like, what? I was like, you don't do that every day. She's like, now I have to like walk extra. I'm like, no, you don't. Like, just like, don't do that every day, right? What are you doing on a regular basis? One day is not going to ruin your thing. So one thought is not going to ruin, one day of thoughts is not going to ruin it. It's just, okay, now I do better. So yes, I see an offer. It doesn't feel like a great offer. It feels like a meh offer. It feels like and it almost feels like it's given out of like a counter offer, right? To another job that you're looking at. And also if you're here and like hit the thumbs up. Because obviously you like me if you're here, right? I don't know if it does anything to the algorithm, but we're going to pretend that it does. So my thoughts for you are that like it would be really beneficial for you to start imagining it. But I almost feel like there's another, like you're offered another job somewhere else and they counter, but I don't feel like the counter is super amazing. And that's me rambling in the same circle over and over to tell you that. Oh, sorry, Christine. Let me. There's the link for payments, and I'll pin it. You're very welcome, Charlie. Good morning, Miss Regine. How are you? I am okay. I have a little bit of a headache, but other than that, we're gonna try. I'm hoping that the weather doesn't get rainy and too bad, and that we could meander around the park a little bit later for Cherry Blossom Festival, because we didn't have time to go yesterday when the weather was amazing, of course. Like my sound is great on here, or I energetically sound great. Oh, I need to know. So I'm going to make a video about this later because I had this really interesting thing happen on Friday during my skating lesson. So like every month, like always, like right before my period, not that you need to know that, like my sensory stuff is like out of control. And it was like I was a little like whatever, but so Friday was a big morning astrologically. So I try to take into account all the my normal stuff where I'm like sensory overload a little bit easier. Oh, I was sick last time. Yeah. I still have a little bit of that cough, but like, it's like I talk about it and then I start coughing. Maybe it's psychosomatic. Just kidding. I think some of it might be a little allergy related, but so I try to take that in account when I have weird things happen, but this was like interesting. So like sometimes if I have that stuff, like like notice the lights more or people cutting across the ice more, or like I'm just extra sensitive to basically every sound sensory thing. But this thing happened where I was working on just doing all my backwards stuff, backwards edges, backward stroking, blah, 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 crossovers. And it was like a portal opened up. So it felt like there was like a very large space column of white energetic light, but not bright but just there, like feeling like a vast. Do you know when you stand at the top of a like, oh, it's like the Grand Canyon or whatever, but you can feel like the space open up. So it just feels like this open energetic flow. It wasn't overwhelming, but it was like very noticeable. And there was a couple spirits there too. And I was like, I can't, like, it's like standing at the top of the cliff trying to skate around the edge of a cliff, except the energy is going the other way instead of down. That's what I felt like. So I don't know if anybody else noticed any weird energetic stuff. And so this was like at like between like 9:45 and 10:45. That was when my lesson was in the morning on Friday. And the new moon was like at its new moon peak about 2 hours before that. And I'm just wondering if anybody noticed. And like it was a big new moon because it was in Aries. And also there's like a million other planets in Aries right now. I think 8 other planets at that time in Aries. And it's like a huge day so I did like a burn that night where I had written down all of the things I'm letting go of and calling in. And you think about it, it's like, it doesn't have to be right on that, like right at the time or right on that day. It's like sort of like in that period of time. And the changes that you're calling in are more sort of like long-term. So I don't know if anybody noticed that or anybody did a burn for their manifestations. And it's interesting because I don't do that a lot. Like but I actually was setting my intentions and releases while I was in an astrology class that evening that my friend, who is a really amazing astrologer, was giving. And that night, that's like my Friday night party astrology class. But it was really powerful, really amazing feminine energy that was sitting there and talking about. You did the burn too. Did anybody else notice? Like, Regine, did you notice an like interesting energy? So I was like thinking about that, if that's like, because I don't always know at the time what I'm experiencing, and I sort of like chew on it is the best way for me to explain it, is like chewing on the energy of it and like what does that mean, like pondering and like waiting and listening. There's a lot of like when you do intuitive work and you're really into it, it's like there's a lot of like waiting and listening, believe it or not, and like just like being open to like whatever the universe is saying. It's no forced thing. Anyways, if any of you want to share, I would love to chew on that with you. No, you don't have to put it here. I can read it as long as I know where it's at. Christine, that's fine. So anyways, I just have that really interesting experience and just was wondering if anybody else noticed it, or if anybody else noticed any changes where they feel like their sensory stuff was more heightened, their intuition was more heightened, they noticed more like connections or whatever. Let me know. And then I'll answer another question and then I'll tell you some more stuff about the manifesting stuff. Okay. Yeah, I'll just read it. Don't worry. No rush to it. I'm going to do, especially in your dreams. I had a really weird dream, and I'm hoping it's not one of my precog dreams that I get where it's like really weird. And I'm like, because I felt like I was awake, and then I realized I was sleeping. Like it was really weird. But like my whole garage, like my garage door has been broken. I'm waiting for them he ordered the new one. He's going to replace it. I have to paint it to be the color I want, because he convinced me that I'd just get a white one instead of paying the extra $1,000, which arguably, yes, I understand that. Anyways, so I'm waiting on it, but I had this dream where I was like, my car was just right outside the garage door, because I park in my garage because I'm like, if I have a garage, I'm gonna use it. And we have a 2-car garage, so it's easy to have storage too. And like I felt like I was like, why am I just like sitting here and not moving? Like something kept me from sitting there not moving. And then all of a sudden the whole garage door just like fell to the ground. Um like like that, and like slammed down. And like I was like, oh my God. And my first thought was like, well, like it was like, what the like, why am I just sitting here? And like I felt like I was in a zone, and like I totally like completely like spaced out. Um, which happens sometimes. um, and then I was like realized, I was like, oh, I ordered a new garage door, but when's it coming? And is it going to be like, how long is my garage going to be open up? Like I like started processing, like, how do I solve, how do I fix this? But like, I'm hoping that's not a precog dream. 'Cause at least nobody's hurt. Nobody's like in the way. Everything like falls okay. But like still. Okay. All right. Let me answer. Celeste Dream wanted to know about grandchildren. So I feel like February feels important. So I don't know if that's I genuinely don't know if that's a delivery time or a due date or a conception time. I keep feeling I'm going from 3 to 5. So how many grandkids do you have? Hi, Witch King. How are you? And it's funny because I wore my grandma's necklace today. Well, this is her pendant, not her thing. You have 2. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody is just pregnant now. But this feels like you have 3. So either just pregnant now, or I feel like you'll be hearing soon about 1, but I feel like you'll end up with 5 total. I have to tell you, I feel like one of the, I don't know if this is your daughter or your daughter-in-law, has a very hard time with pregnancies. Incredible mom, but it just feels like I feel like they're short statured, and so there's just not a lot of room in their torso for baby. So I feel like I retain a ton of water. I wouldn't be surprised if there's like an issue with maybe concerns about potential for preeclampsia. And I just feel like a lot of hip back pain. So Witch King, I don't channel a lot. And I'll tell you why. I mean, I am kind of channeling, but not in that sense of like, this is who right? I think some of that comes with, I tend to get like where I go back and forth between things. So if you can follow me, I really appreciate that. Also, that's a paid question because it's for you personally. It's not a like, can you give a message to everybody? The first experience I had with like actual intentional channeling was in a course I was taking. It was a psychic development course, and we were learning about channeling. And I remember being very apprehensive, right? Because I came from a very background, and like literally the only movie that ever scared me. And I watched a ton of scary movies as a kid because Gen X, my dad was like divorced dad. My parents divorced when I was 6, and we go to Blockbuster or Cactus Video, and I'd find like the scariest, grossest looking video. I'd be like, could I watch this? And my dad would be like, sure, that's totally appropriate for a child. And so those kind of, a lot of movies they made me laugh because I found them comical, but the only movie really ever that scared me was The Exorcist. And like still to this day, I will like to like, right. But even though I know that I'm fine, I'm not going to be, but so with channeling, I had a lot of ideas around what channeling was, what I experienced as channeling. And like, like not being in control. And so like my guides had showed me that basically it's like, do you ever, I don't know how old you are, but like the 1980s driver's ed movies would show you like California driver's ed, where like you have one set of steering wheel for the driver and one set for the teacher, same with the brake pedals and stuff. And so like the driver was totally in control, but like, so I was basically like the driver's ed teacher where I could take control at any time. And so I remember having a lot of conversations with my, like hearing these group of guides talking and yammering and like, oh, just say this, just say that. And I like could stop them and be like, you can't say it that way because it's a little too direct. And if you know me, which I don't know that you do yet, but I'm very direct in the way I give readings, and I'm not mean by any ways, but I also don't feel like sugarcoating anything. I don't feel like it serves anybody in any way. Crystal, I received a payment. I don't know. I didn't see what your screen name is, but yeah. So I had to sort of like reel him in a little bit and be like, can't be that direct. So I learned, right? But to sit down and do that, I don't know. I don't have to do that in order to receive messages to give them to you. Like I don't have to have this intercession, right? Or have somebody like, I feel like I can just like tell you whatever I'm getting, because channeling takes more time, and also it just whatever. But I was told, because I was like, did my voice change? Because I don't feel like my voice changed when I was telling people, and because we were in this like a big group of people, and they're like, yeah, your voice was totally different, which I found fascinating. I wish they would have recorded it. um so but I don't feel like I have to do that in order to give readings, so I don't. So I guess if you want somebody to actually channel it and you hear the voice and stuff like that, you got to go to somebody else, because that's not me. um well, Anita, hi. So, Celeste, come back and let me know if I was right. I always like those kind of, I like validation. Who doesn't? I mean, I'm also okay with like, I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Like nobody's ever 100%. Okay. Oh, I was saying about the mom, the whatever. So I also feel like there's a little bit of like, just like exhaustion towards the end of pregnancy, which I guess, whatever, that's normal. I've had three, like you're sort of like, but it feels like a little more than that, right? So it feels like, just so if you're able and if you're in a way to be able to support and just be there, that would be probably the best thing ever. Not like, like just saying like, hey, if you need anything here, would you prefer me to do X, Y, or Z? So she feels like she has a choice and she doesn't feel like she's being judged and all of that, because I do feel like she's very hard on herself. Hi, Katrina. Okay. Um, oh, she said she was done, but I felt she wasn't. Yeah. Well, so then if that's somebody who's saying that, they're going to need lots and lots of support and not to feel alone, and that they have like a great community around them. And community can be family or friends, but um, if you love those grandbabies, just make yourself very available. You're not going backwards, Regine. Here's the thing. Um, Hang on, let me find my list so I could just update it. That's Christine. Um, okay, and then Crystal. Okay, hang on. Great. Then she said, I drove so far yet I feel better about what I'm doing. I don't understand. Um, I would I would say it's not backwards. It's almost this feeling of like when you're wanting to take a whole bunch on your plate, right? Of doing your spiritual practice, soon to become a mama, um, right? You're going to be, I don't know, it's not adoption yet, but it is mama figure, right? Right. So bringing in this little girl into your life and kind of doing all the stuff on your own. And you're setting out to the universe because I suspect this is what happened. You sent out to the universe. I want a job that like I love, that brings in good money, blah, 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 benefits and to be able to easily do all of this stuff and integrate it. Sometimes the universe goes, hey, here's this opportunity. What do you think? They don't always, it doesn't always come in the way we want it or expect it to. And I shouldn't say want it to. You don't have to take it, but I would lean into the idea if you're excited about it, like, look, this isn't a huge, you're going to have a huge learning curve, right? So then it makes all the other stuff fall into place a little easier. Like, I'm not tired and overwhelmed, so I can still do my spiritual practice. I'm not tired and overwhelmed, so I can still take care of this little girl. I've got benefits for me. It's like more stability. Um, I always think it's interesting when we think of something as like, oh, am I moving backwards? I'm always like, well, what are you trying to show me here? Like, what am I putting out there? The way I'm manifesting it, like, oh, this is another way of getting that. Um, so if you've been here a little bit, you know that I manifest my kids to do things when they're not when they're like acting a certain way. And last week, or I know that they're having a struggle and I want to help them with that. And I have neurodivergent children, and focus is a little hard sometimes. um, Go figure. If you see me bouncing around the way I do. um, and uh, so I was like saying one morning, I was like, oh, for my one daughter, I was like, she can usually get her work done. She's able to focus, like, because homework can be difficult when you can't struggle and things like that. I wasn't even, whatever. So she came home on Thursday and was like, I don't have any homework. I finished all of my classwork. And well, I sat there in the morning and I was like, I either look at a picture of her in my phone. I'm holding my phone. I look at a picture of her in my phone, or I will, just really visualize her in my head. And I was like, oh, you get your work done easily. It's so easy for you to focus. It's not a problem. Tests are really easy. You can finish your tests, things like that, because those are things where in the past we've struggled. And I feel like I perpetuated that because I kept thinking about like she would eat really, really slow as a kid, like just like everything was done very methodically. And I have to like change that mindset. Same thing with my younger daughter, is change that mindset and visualize it differently. Because I do believe that we can change things. And it's kind of confirming that the manifestation is working. Wait, there's a boost of energy that came into me and I like it. Oh, perfect. Which were you manifesting? The money, the work, or like how did you manifest that? So anyways, my daughter came home and said that, whatever. So great. Excellent. And when I get frustrated with her, I just like in my head, I'm like, I'm just going to go look at your picture. My friend was laughing at me. She's like, you're so strict. Cause I was like, I'm going to go talk to your picture. I don't say it to her, but in my head, I'm like, right. So, then she gets frustrated with me cause she'll talk about struggles she's having with friends. And I tell her, I'm like, like these are things that I struggle with sometimes or did. And this is what I did, like my mindset work to like figure that out. And it was really cute because I picked her up from school on Friday. She had play rehearsal. So I was like later in the evening and she's telling me what a great day she had. Or no, this was Saturday. Yesterday, she was at school for 6 hours with play rehearsal. And she's like, I was like, so how was it today? And she's like, it was really great. And people were really nice to me. And she's like, Mom, manifesting really works. And I was like, it really does. And I was like, did I do something that I can't remember? Did I like, and then she talked to me and she goes, Mom, why does it work really well? Like when I visualize right before I go to bed, and I talk to her about like theta waves, theta brain waves. And like, that's a really great time to like kind of get into the subconscious and reprogram your belief systems. She's like, before I went to bed, I was like, oh, everybody's really nice to me, really whatever. She's like, and it was such a great day. I was like, because this works. That's why I tell you about it. That's why because I don't want my kids to have years of feeling like garbage about themselves or have things show up in a way that's unfavorable, when it's just like your brain will filter for what you're thinking about and what you're placing as important. And so I don't know, just try it. Just try it. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And start with small stuff. Like I find that people, when they're really kind of beginning, and same. So I still will manifest for small things because I like to remind myself, like when you're waiting for the bigger umbrella things like the success, whatever, and think about, what does success mean to you? What is like, what does a healthy, perfect relationship look like to you? Because a lot of people will say like, when is the love of my life coming in? Well, what does that look like to you? What does that relationship look like to you? It's somebody who shows up. How do they show up? Are they great communicators? Because things can come in different ways. Like what are your 5 most important things in a relationship? What does that look like to you? Same thing with a job. What does your relationship with your boss look like? What does your relationship with your coworkers look like? What does your relationship with money look like? Right? When you're really doing the work, the reprogramming, the observational work, it requires you to observe without judgment. And because we are programmed with a lot of limiting beliefs, and like I could sit here and go like, oh, I'm such a terrible mom. Well, whatever. I'm not perfect, and I'm not perfect because I had belief systems that sort of limited me. And now how can I reprogram that? No, I didn't want a lot of the behaviors that I've received from other people. I didn't like actively so I didn't feel like I was deserving of them, but in a way I created them, not intentionally, but I got the crappy programming. So like, okay, that doesn't make me a bad person. It makes me a human, part of source, having a human experience. And like, how do I overcome that? Okay, just whatever you're doing, do it without like judgment or shame, because that's silly. I mean, it's normal human stuff, but also it's unnecessary. Okay. Like something I notice is, I'm not a gossipy person about people. If I'm complaining about something, it's probably pretty bad. Um, like even my OB was like, after my first daughter, because all of my stitches I had a second degree lac and an episiotomy, and all my stitches ripped out like day 5 postpartum. And this is the problem with medical people, is like we go, oh, like it's supposed to be uncomfortable. Like you tend to like brush off, like, okay, it's like going to be uncomfortable. Like you had a baby. Like what do you expect, right? And again, tend not to be a complainer. And so like a month out, I was like, God, I mentioned something to my friend because she had a baby shortly before me, like a few weeks before me. And I was like, I'm still really uncomfortable. Like, how long did it take you to not feel uncomfortable? And she's like, oh, it was like good in like 2 weeks. And she's like, maybe I just heal fast. Like she thought she was like magic. And I was like, yeah, I don't know, something. So I like got a mirror and I'm like, what the fuck is going on down there? And I was like, oh, I have like a gaping wound. So I like messaged my OB and I was like, do you want me to send you a picture? She's like, come in, you're fine. And she's like, holy, yeah. Like, she's like, you kept it really clean. But like, my point is like, sometimes you'll suffer and push through things and be like, oh, I didn't have to do that. Right. I didn't have to have all of that pain. Why the fuck did I tell you that? There was really like a reason for it. I don't know, whatever. I'll get to there. But really, you don't have to suffer and push through things. You don't have to like, you can ask for help sooner. There's a reason for that. I don't remember. It was a weird story, right? Right. There's a point for it. You answer only to the Holy Trinity, live life like they want, being innocent and helping others in need. I think that that's awesome that you do that, but it's not how I practice. So um, either like develop your own connection with them, because you can do that. And then you can like answer to them directly, but it's not a belief system I have. So it's not a service I can offer for you. I don't believe, so you know, and this is no judgment to you. This is just how I live my life. I don't believe that we are. Oh, I think it's great that you're sharing. I'm not, but like, um, I believe we have a direct connection to source, right? I believe actually we all are source, and there's nothing outside of us that controls us. That's through my own practices, but I'm a reverend in the Spiritualist Church in New York City, and the Spiritualist Church has 9 tenets, and one of them is that there is nothing outside of you that has control of you, that you are responsible for every action, positive and negative, right? So, like, there's no devil, there's nothing controlling you. I don't believe that Source wants you to do anything, because I believe that we're all. Oh, I know you're not trying to convert anybody. This is conversation. This is how this works, right? I'm not offended by what you said. I think it's great, and I think you should share what you think and believe. There's no judgment. I'm just telling you it's not a service I can offer for you, because these are my beliefs, right? And so, but like, stay and be a part of the energy. You're welcome. Um, um, like, I think I understand why you would feel like I'm not trying to attack you. Um, I should take my fingers away, right? I think that in the world, people have a really hard time right now having any conversations around anything and sharing different belief systems without feeling like, because the world is set up to, if you notice a lot of patterns with people, there's a lot of attack that happens. um, I even had a client who was like, I don't, she's one of my most regular clients, and she and I have, she was like, well, she tends to vote more Republican. I am probably further left than Democrats, but I will vote with the party because the system's kind of not set up for a great, more than a dual party thing. But she was like, I don't, and I was like, you're allowed to have, right, your differences or whatever. She's like, I'm not, she doesn't like Trump. So like, that's fine. The truth is most people aren't that far apart in their beliefs. Right. So I'm just telling you what I believe. And it's like, I believe that we are all part of source. We all have part of source in us, coming to experience life as a human in this 3D world, um, from different aspects to learn. So, oh, I'm going to answer the question, Christine. Okay. That's demanding. This is how this sort of works. I'm sorry. This is how we talk about all different kinds of things. And I don't just come here and work as a, you know, if that's what you want and you want it answered on your own time, though, by the way, and you're not like sort of, because $12 is really nothing and I donate 30%, don't come to the Sundays. Just email. I have email. You can pay $20 and get your email question read. Okay. Just thought I'd let you know. Because remember, this is all energy work that I do. Who are you trying to help? Because your question is, it says, reading note with my uncle Mike, helping me with Michael, whatever. I'm not going to name that because that I can't do anything. What are you not able to do? I have no bill statements for taxes with BE, and my brother has isolated my dad. Who are you asking? Who are you helping with bills? Can you write that differently, please? Write it so it's clear. Because again, I'm just asking a question and then I get an answer. So if I have this split thing, I don't know what I'm supposed to ask. So if you could clarify that and write that in a way that makes sense, I would really appreciate that. And I'm going to move on to somebody else until you do that. But remember, I'm making about less than $9 off of each question. And I've been doing readings professionally for 18 years. So I'm really, really taking a pay cut to do these. But write that in a way that makes sense, please. And that's where you get my attitude, when you start being demanding of my energy. Regine, did I actually answer your question? Joelle, what's your question? And then Nicole, what's your question? If I have more. So with that job, I do feel like it'll be good for you just in the transition period. I don't feel like you'll be there maybe more than 2 years, but it just feels like a good transition. Again, Witch King, those are personal, so you have to. Oh, ingest? I would not ingest anything unless you research that. Okay, no problem. So I immediately, before I even got to the names, I felt like the woman in question is I feel like she's at the beginning stages of dementia. And so I actually feel like when she's having issues with him, she's having sundowning. And in her way, she does love people. She just doesn't understand that it's not healthy. Oh, you're very welcome, Regine. And I'm saying this out loud because sometimes when you read back, she said, "Thank you, Annalisa. You always bring me so much accurate information and calm. I'm very grateful." Joelle, does that make sense when I say that? So, Christine, did you put your question in more clearly for me? Because I really have no clue what you're asking. I don't know who you're asking to pay taxes for. The rest of the stuff seems like it's just a lot. So if you could. She has always had issues with him. I don't feel like I feel like that's there, yes. But I feel like the stuff that's popping up now feels like it's exacerbated by this like pre-dementia stuff. Um, they grew up in a really different household is the feeling I get. So I don't know if maybe boys were favored or if there's an age gap, but it feels like growing up in very different households. Um, or maybe she was favored, but it's like very, very different. I literally read, Nicole, can I please have the gender for the next month or so? And I was like, wait, what? Instead of general. Yes. And she got married young and left. Yeah. It just feels like I honestly. So is there boy favoritism? Because there's a feeling of like almost like someone pitting each other against each other. I also do feel like maybe some SA for her at some point. I can't get a pin on who it was that perpetrated the act, but it feels like a young, or like it doesn't feel like a parent or an uncle. It feels like somebody in the same generation, but maybe like 5 to 6 years older than her. He was the only boy, so he sort of got like that. Yeah. So there can be a lot of resentment that gets built up and treating somebody differently when the parents sort of instill this idea of like, you know, So it's not like I'm saying her behavior is okay, but also sometimes when you start really looking at where it comes from, you tend to have a little bit, give that person a little bit more grace. Not like it's okay that you treat us like shit, but like, I don't know. Again, it's like I told my mom one time, she's like, why do you always stick up for my mom? Like, was she talking about her mom? And I was like, I give her the same grace that you got. Like, no one, when you get programming that happen that way, like my grandmother lost her father at 4 years old. She lived in an orphanage for 4 years as a young child. I mean, went through the Great Depression. So like didn't have great parenting skills, all kinds of stuff. Like, so my mom didn't have a great mom. My mom didn't have great parenting skills and situations that forced her to not be able to be present, whatever. Like, I could hold anger for the rest of my life about it and hold it over them, but also, you know, I also feel like with the woman in question, there may be some self-medication, or I don't know. There's something like, I don't know if this is like, maybe I took diet pills, or there's something about like taking something to control something else, or to like, so maybe an eating disorder at a point or something. Hi, Tammy. Yay! Congratulations on selling the house. Do you know what I thought about the other day? Was that I think I told you initially it would be March or whatever, and I'm wondering if I just was wrong on the year, and that because that does happen sometimes where I get the month right and the year wrong. She took something for sure. Yeah. So there's something there with that where they're showing me. And I don't think that that's necessarily important to the answer to this question. I think sometimes they just give me a little extra nuggets of stuff as a validation. Nicole, wait, you just want a general. And then Crystal, what was your question? I just want to make sure I have all of you on the list. That Crystal, Christine, Katrina has two. Okay. Nicole, general for the next, sorry, did you say month or two? Okay. Um, I feel like you are, this is through the end of May. I feel very busy and sort of like, I don't feel like I'm spending a lot of time having fun, to be honest with you. I feel preoccupied with just, not in a bad way, just focused, hyper focused on financial investments and work. Um, so I feel like my focus is on really just like, what are my long-term goals? And that's what I'm focusing on. Um, I don't feel a lot of time for dating. Again, just focused. And I feel like it's all on you. So I don't feel like this is I have to worry about family health issues or anything else. I just feel like really, really digging in and focused on you, focused on your thoughts. Like, I just feel like my brain is, um, and it doesn't even feel like so much like the airy fairy sort of part of like, I like when you do manifesting work and intentional work, right, can be like, do these different, I don't know, like burning your intentions and like that. It feels like really, really paying attention to your thoughts, and being focused on it. And again, I feel like very focused on financial stuff. So I don't, what happened with those houses? Um, it just feels really intentional and digging into that part of your life. June feels like it opens up and it's much more social and fun for me, for you. I actually feel like you might start dating somebody in June. So that's what I'm getting. The houses didn't work out. One was not good, and the other one was under contract before I got to it. Which one was the not good one? Was it the one I said was not good? Um, I would say if even if that one that's under contract, remember circumstances don't matter. If you really want it, you can manifest whatever you want. I 1,000% believe in that. It's what I've been doing. I've really been spending, I'm not kidding, so much time really just digging into like persisting with my thoughts, persisting with the way things are coming through. And it's not a woo-woo thing. This is not a like, um, and noticing how many little things are manifesting where I'm like, oh, I like thought about that for 3 seconds and I wanted that to happen. So like one of the things I wanted to happen was my daughter to take the bus in the morning, my young one, because I think she'd have fun. Like, didn't say anything to her about it, right? I just was thinking like, oh, it'd be nice for her to take the bus in the morning because like we have a ton of kids at our bus stop now, and like several of her friends are on the bus and they play in the morning before school. They wanted to sell with tenants inside, too difficult. And yes, we will recheck the end of the month for the blue house and try to slip in. Just start saying in your head, don't be like, oh, I wonder if it'll happen. I'm going to try to slip it. And just like, no, everything works out in my favor. That blue house is mine. I own it. See yourself signing the contract, see yourself receiving information that like whatever, but like see it happening for you. So you can see it as somebody coming back to you and be like, hey, something fell through. Like the realtor is like, hey, turns out something fell through. Do you want it? But, or I would just say, see yourself signing the contract, sitting down and closing on it. Like, or getting the keys for the place. Gray hair shine. Bonked my head on the side of the table last night. So I was like sitting on the floor with my daughter petting the bunny. Ugh, that hurt. So that's what I would say. Was it the red house? Oh, so it was the red house where I was like, I don't like, not that one. I don't like that one. So I was talking about, oh yeah, Cindy, you can make a payment for one. That's fine. I was talking about when you're manifesting and your thoughts are going in that certain direction, like, so the small stuff, the bus, right? So then 2 days or a day and a half later, my friend said to me like, hey, we mentioned to, because her daughter is friends with my daughter. We're like, we mentioned to April that she should come to the bus stop in the morning. So I never said anything to anybody. It was literally just a random passing thought. Like, I would like this. Those ones always come. So when I was like, oh, I'd really like that. Yeah, so I was right about the houses. Okay. So I was like, oh, I'd really like that. So anyway, so then my friend mentioned something to me, and then I mentioned something to my daughter. I was like, they play kickball in the morning. They kick a ball around. It's not really kickball. And my daughter's like, I've never played that before. She's like, have you played it? I was like, oh, I played it all the time. I loved it. It was like my favorite game in gym was kickball. And so I was like, totally, like this would be a lot of fun in the morning because it gives me like 20 extra minutes in the morning or more if she gets on the bus, which I like. And so, yeah. So now she's riding the bus and it was just a random thought. So just like, think about that. Like, those are the ones where I have no resistance and they always happen. But I think some of it also shifts easier because I have so much a belief that it'll happen that it happens. And there's even things that are bigger things I manifest. And I'm like, I wonder when it's going to happen, but I know it's going to happen. Like it's not like when's it going to happen? Because I have to have it. It's like, oh, I wonder when that's going to happen. That's like really awesome. I'm really excited for that one. Just like when you place an order at a restaurant, you don't sit and go like, oh, like I got to figure out, you don't have to figure out the how. You don't have to figure out the how. Like when you place an order in the restaurant, you don't have to figure out where's the order going to go in? How are they going to put the order in? Do they have a password to put the order in? Is that like, how does that work? And like, who's picking up back there? Is it the line chef? Is it like do they have a runner? Like who does all of the work? Like you don't have to figure all that out. You just go, here's my order. And it comes out and you don't go like, I mean, sometimes you ask, when is it going to be out? That's okay. Still comes out to you. You're asking when. I started just deciding that asking when does not delay unless you're asking because you're not certain it's going to come out, right? Is this going to happen? Is it, my order get like, but asking when is not going to delay your thing. Just decide that, make that your new rule. Okay. I'm moving on. Crystal and then Katrina. And then I've got somebody else here. I think that's Cindy with 2. Crystal, what's your question? And I'm sorry, today is not one of my finer moments with reacting, but when people start to be like, hurry up, get to me first, there's always a better way, right? Can you just answer my question? Like, remember, I read the energy behind stuff. So if you're annoyed with me, I can feel that. If you're sassy frassy with me, I can feel that. If you're pregnant, you're not even talking about pregnancy, I can feel that. In the current friction in my relationship, a sign that we have fulfilled our purpose together, or is it a challenge? Can you give me the first name of the person? Nobody's going to know who they are. Promise. I'm just reading. Oh, okay. Thank you. I didn't have to wait that long. Thank you for being so quick. Okay. So for you, I feel like when you carry your stress or like things go wrong, I feel like I just felt nauseous. Like I feel it in my stomach. Some people carry like all of that here. Sometimes it's in their shoulders or jaw. So I feel like that nauseous like pit in my stomach feeling. I feel like with your partner, I feel like she's almost checked out. I want to say they're checked out. I'm just getting to the dynamics of what I feel just because I don't want to, I want you to be able to validate that. So I feel like you're more of like, we have to work this out. Like, let's get, like, you're more of the communicative one and almost in like I don't want to say forceful, but there's this like want and need to like fix, find, solve, whatever it is. And that's fine. But I feel like they're more internal. They don't process very well. They aren't great at processing their emotions. I feel like you've done a lot of work at being very reflective and like looking at yourself and like knowing where your shortcomings are. So I feel like you're growing here and she's sort of like this. So you're fast and she's sort of like much slower. Does that resonate when I say that? Have a wonderful day, Tammy. Thank you for the validation and congratulations on your home selling. So let me know if that makes sense when I say that. So I will say this. 100%. Okay. So I will never like, I mean, it's not that I just have such a different view of things now, especially since I've been doing all the manifesting stuff and the mindset stuff and like thought transference. And if the world shows up as your beliefs show up, here's how it is. I have a very different take on, um, relationships different than like the manifesting community does. Like oftentimes well, you should just like manifest your partner to show up differently. So then it's like different. Then you don't have to find another partner. And I do sort of feel like there are points where like it's okay to say like, no, like I'm going through a divorce and um I don't want to be married to him anymore. But also I am manifesting for him to show up differently than we've shown up in relationship. And so far, so good. Like we're doing great co-parenting together. And there's been some little snafus here and there, but like nothing that isn't manageable. And I'm showing like one of my things is to have him show up in a very respectful way and like when he does show up that way, I notice my old thoughts go back to like, what's the deal here? Blah, 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 like, right. So it's like, and my point is like, you can have them show up in a different way if you want, or you can decide that you want to experience something different as a human, right? So we're part of source, experiencing human in a corporal being or corporal being. And you can choose differently. Like you don't, just because society says like you should stay together forever. Oh, I'm glad that you needed to hear that. So like, but you don't have to do that, right? There's no have to in this life. It's like, what do you choose to experience as this source being experiencing a corporeal existence? And because you learn through experience, right? And source was just like, I want to experience all different things. And that's even greater for you to decide and change and want things. So you can overcome. So your question is like, is it a challenge we are meant to overcome? There's nothing meant to happen, right? So like you can choose if you want to, sure, great. My thing for you would, if I was you, I would say like, I love how communicative she is now. I love how she decided to start sharing her feelings and that she feels safe and comfortable to do that with me and that we're able to communicate on a really healthy and amazing level. And it's really just deepened all of this like distance that we felt actually ended up bringing us together in a more profoundly connected, deep way. And I love that we're able to grow together. That's what I would do if you want to stay together. But it's really your choice. It's not something outside of you. Again, like I said, I'm a reverend in the Spiritualist Church, and the Spiritualist Church is like one of their tenets is there's nothing outside of you responsible for anything. It's just you. You get to have a say. So I've always said this, and I love it. It's like cherry pick your spiritual beliefs because you're allowed to. You know, if there's a belief or a practice out there that someone's teaching that gives you anxiety or fear, you're not in alignment with that. That is a chief sign that you are not in alignment. I don't believe that like endings have to be tragic or drama inducing. I believe that you can have changes and shifts without that. And that some of it does require you to look at yourself and your belief systems. In fact, all of it does really. And your belief systems and what are your thoughts bringing up? And some of those thoughts are harder, but it doesn't mean it's impossible, right? They just require a little bit more persistence to kind of catch them and be like, oh yeah, that's not right. And you'll automatically start catching if you decide it's important. So tell me what you like. I know it's like you want me to come here and say it's the end or like you can keep it going, but it's either. It's what you decide. And you shouldn't feel guilty about, I know I say you shouldn't, whatever, but like try not to feel guilty about deciding that something is the end and it's run its course. I know you want a direct answer from me, but I don't feel that that's the case. I feel like this is who you are and where you're at. That's why I wanted to validate these are the energies for you, that I'm reading both of your energies. And the truth is, you get to choose, and you get to choose without guilt or shame or feeling like you're a failure. Like, I don't feel like I failed at marriage. I don't feel like we failed. We had 3 beautiful children, and I've learned a lot about myself through this relationship. I don't feel like that's a fail just because there's a shift in how we connect with each other. And maybe that's Pollyanna-ish, but you know what? Fuck. I don't think there's a reason to make myself feel terrible about who I am and the way that I've learned. And I'm not going to sit and like pour out all of the things that went wrong and all the details, because it's nobody's business. But the point is like, you can do things without being really messy. I also think it's way more empowering to understand when you understand the manifesting stuff. That's why I push it a lot, because it's way more empowering to understand, like, I can communicate with the universe, manifesting. I can get information back, intuition, and I can do it in a really awesome way by having a better self-concept in a way that's like so much more magical. Like I had when I was writing out my, so if you want to, like, if you, what are you choosing to do? I almost feel like, this is what I'm going to say. I almost feel like you are ready to be done, but there's guilt in making that decision because you don't want to hurt her. That's what I feel. And so I'm reassuring you that it's okay to make those decisions, and you can do it in a way that's not, explosive or implosive, whichever you choose to believe. There's a lot, I know. So from a manifesting standpoint, when you see the stuff show up in our 3D, right? This is all old beliefs that are creating that. So like even Christine showing up in a way that made me be like that's all my old beliefs of how people show up and in a certain way. And I can think about that like, okay, well, how do I want to change it from this point forward? I feel like you are a very kind and empathetic person, and it's why you wonder about like, but it's still, my feeling is like, I'm ready to be kind of done. Like, just to like, this is a lot, because I don't feel like this has been this feels like a long time coming. It doesn't feel like we've been having a fight for 2 weeks. This feels like a long time. And that's why you're at where you're asking where you're at. So I would highly, highly recommend just kind of, I get that there's also a fear on your part of like, then the starting over, because this feels like a really long-term relationship. If you want to do a one-on-one, I'm so happy to do one for you. But that's, again, I've never been someone to be like, you should get a one-on-one reading. It's like, I know other readers who do that. I just like, if you want to, I'm here. You can certainly schedule one. But it's, it's up to you. It's the feeling I get. I genuinely feel like, I know I leave a lot of the choice in your hands. I know it's like but I feel like my energy feels like towards you, like wanting the end of it, but also like it's where you're in that between. Like I really, really want this because it's just a lot. And then also like that there's that fear behind it of like, how does this change look then when it happens? So I would lean into manifesting. I would lean into like, just why don't you, for shits and giggles, because you're not going to harm it by having thoughts, right? Well, I mean, you will, but I'm saying like your logical brain, your left side of your brain is not gonna. You're the in between stage. Why not? Just for shits and giggles, throw it out there and see if you can get her to show up in a different way. So I would look at a picture of her. So when you get angry or whatever, don't have the words back with her. Just be like, you notice that she's shutting down and she's not opening up and talking about stuff. Go and talk to a picture and be like, it's so easy for you to talk to me. You feel so comfortable and safe having these conversations with me. And you know that we always connect on a very safe space. Have that conversation. I'm so grateful that you decided to come talk to me and tell me whatever. Decide what you want her to tell you. And then just be patient. So I do this with my kids all the time. I do this with people all the time, actually. In general, I do it for my friends with their kids. I do it with just lots of people because they know it works. And I don't feel like I'm manipulating anybody, because what you're doing is you're moving to those. If there's infinite timelines that exist, every possibility has already been made, everything. I'm just choosing to, by intentionally talking, and this is how I want it to be. I'm putting the order in. I'm getting moved along the micro movements to get me to the timeline where that experience exists. And admittedly, sometimes it feels more challenging for some of the things, but that's just a story we have in our head for some of the shifts that have to occur. Like I think a lot about how like I wish I would have understood this was the way it was years ago, because I see the patterns that have shown up in my life and how people show up romantically, on friendship levels, on coworker levels, everything. And the fact is we have choices that we get to make. You're not just this ping pong ball being bounced around the world, like wondering when things are going to happen. And the beauty and the magic comes in like how things come in. So one of the things I manifested for my daughter was she was struggling and not having great companions at lunch. They were, not really friendly, warm, and open to like conversation and things. And she thought she was stuck there. And so I just decided like, oh, isn't it great that she has friends that want to talk to her? I didn't say that it had to be them, although I could have manifested that if I wanted to. I just left it kind of open. And she ended up switching tables and she's got friends. And she was like struggling and talking about how friends were showing up in unfavorable ways and feeling like, this is how people treat me. And I was like, that is a story that you tell yourself. And I'm not saying that it's not happening, but then she was telling me, and I was like, that's like, most of those things aren't about you. Like when I hear what you're telling me, it's not, you didn't do anything wrong. This is just, maybe you don't know people. You have to change the story around it, that it's not about you. It's like, there's a story about like when people don't necessarily text me back in a timely manner or whatever. For a long time, I was like, oh, they're just busy. So now like with one friend where I was like, oh no, she loves getting back to me. Like she may not be able to write right away, but she loves messaging me, like whatever. Cause I realized that I was telling a story, she's busy. So like, then she's just always busy, like whatever. I think there's so much room for play with it. And I think that's what I really enjoy about it. Like when you understand that, then you start to have fun with the way life is and like, oh, it's showing unfavorable. So what? Circumstances don't matter. It's going to show up exactly the way I want. And I know when you're in that stage of like, maybe you believe it for some circumstances and not others. Like I'm making it sound like it's super easy. And like, well, if you can manifest anything, why aren't you super duper rich and like super, super famous? And why don't you have all those things? Well, because those aren't necessarily, money comes easy or whatever, but like also I'm having fun in the other areas and aspects. We're going to buy a place together and I believe we're heading in the right direction. I think you're still heading in the right direction. Sometimes I think these challenges come up because we're put in a position where our soul, our higher self is like, hey, time to grow up, time to level up. And the fact that you're aware, I don't know why, I just feel like you kind of like, I know you're coming to me for the answer, but I still feel like there's an awareness. And when people are drawn to me as a reader, I feel like they're already sort of self-aware. And so when you have that awareness, your higher self, your bigger thing is kind of like, time to grow. And this is who's going to help you do that. I'm not going to do the work for you. I'll plant that seed for you, though. In your energy, it's like, I don't feel that you're going to end this. I feel like you're ready. And at that point, because it's like, feels like such a struggle, but you still have so much love for her. And I can feel that in your comments, because even then you're still offering so much compassion. Like, I can see she's mentally overwhelmed. So in my high opinion, I think it would be really beneficial for you to try and look at a picture of her, or really get a good mental image of her. And I want you to also decide, like, it's really important about my thoughts and my beliefs around when stuff comes up. What are the thoughts that are following it? So like I said, with my soon to be ex, like I started paying attention to, like, oh, like he does show up in that respectful manner, the way that I'm manifesting. And then my immediate thought is like, oh, what's he trying to do now? And it's like, oh no, let's shift that. You don't have to have that. No, the truth is he's just being respectful. That's it. That's the truth. That's how it is. And what I manifested is happening. And so you can have that conversation with her. Like, I can see that you're mentally overwhelmed, and you feel safe sharing that with me. And you feel safe allowing me to take some of that mental weight off of you. You don't have to solve her problems. Sometimes you just need to listen. Being a fixer is hard. I get it. I'm a fixer. In fact, like I told you about the dream I had, I don't know if you were here, where I said, like, the garage door fell. I'm like, I've already ordered one. Like, I've got a guy who's going to fix it. It's just, there's a lead time on order and delivery, blah, blah, blah. And I saw it falling. And like, immediately, even in my dreams, when I didn't even realize I was dreaming, I thought it was real. I go into fixer mode, find the solution. I have a saying, like, there's always a solution to a problem. And sometimes you have to learn to just, like, be a listener. And even when she shows up and you say, like, you know, I see you look really frustrated, or I see that it's really hard for you to talk about this. And perhaps it's because I've always been like the fixer, whatever. And that makes you feel like, so if you just need me to listen, I'm here to listen. So when you say that she's not the best listener, I pick up two things. So I'm going to tell you first what I pick up on her energetically. Energetically, I feel for her, it's hard for her to listen, because what she hears, and this is not what you're necessarily saying, but what she hears is, I'm the problem. I'm not doing well. I'm not coming up to where I need to be. I'm failing somehow. What's being said is not that, but how she receives it. And that's not your responsibility. That has to do with, like, years of her own programming and feeling like not being enough. There. Also, what I hear from a manifesting standpoint is she's not the best listener. So that's where we end up. So you have to tell a different story, and you have to, like, wait for that order to come out. Right. So it's like, she's really developing. If it's hard to go to, like, she's a great listener, because sometimes there's like that happens energetically, where it's like a stopgap in your brain and in your energetic field. Go to, like, I noticed that she's starting to really listen more, and it's easier for her to receive. Yes, immediately when you asked the ADHD thing, I felt yes. And so there's, like, with ADHD, there's that rejection sensitivity dysphoria, RSD, where, like, when you hear one thing, it feels like the world is crashing in, right? So I might be like, hey, I noticed you left your dish on the table. It's kind of a habit. It would really be nice for you to, like, put the dishes away. And she will hear, as somebody with rejection sensitivity, oh my God, I'm the worst person ever. And I'm laughing because it's like I've been there, and also it's like, something over time that like I had to understand, like, oh, that's like where I started understanding like thoughts and beliefs where I was like, oh, that's like not about me at all. It led to battles. Yeah. So like Cindy said she went through that with her ex and it led to battles. And so like, there's ways around conversations that can change where it takes it off the other person. Be like, I really love, like, so instead of like, can you do this? It's like, I noticed you put your dish away the other day and it made me feel so happy. I don't know what it is. I get this weird, like, energetic, like, glitch when I see that. It's like so frustrating to me and it has nothing to do with you. It's just like I see things out of place and I don't like, it's like such a battle in my brain. And when you did that, it helped relax me so much. I just love that and appreciated it so much. Positive reinforcement. It like works. Uh, So it's all, and like you said, there's a lot of factors in it, but your part can be telling a different story, and learning how to communicate with somebody in a way that is feels safer to them, to not go into this mental spiral. Because the truth is, when you're in a relationship with someone, when people are like, oh, like if they have a partner that's really anxious and needs a lot of reassurance, well, if you love that person, that should be an easy thing to do and not feel like, right? That should be something you want to do, because you want your partner to feel safe in relationship. And when someone is showing up, or if you're the partner is anxious, right? You should want somebody that wants to like show up in a way that's favorable, rather than be like, oh, you don't trust me, so I'm just going to go out and be and like do more things that aren't trust you just to fuck with you. Like, right? You don't want to be with somebody who's like that. So like the thought process is like, then if your beliefs create your reality, sometimes what happens is you end up manifesting that person out of your life because they're not the figure that's going to show up easily, that the universe goes like, oh, that's the order you want, whatever. Or you end up shifting who they are. That's okay. Either of those are okay. You haven't failed. You're not a bad person. You're not manipulating anybody. You're just saying like, I'm the kind of person. So stories around my own personal being, right? I'm the kind of person it's easy to keep a tidy home. And I'm finding that because I say that all the time. It's like, I don't feel so overwhelmed by stuff. And it's like, oh, I'm just going to take 2 minutes and do this here. Like, I don't have to do it all at once. I can just do a little here, little there. Because that's what people who keep a really tidy home, that's what they're doing. They're not doing like, right? They're doing a little bit here and there. Or I'm the person who's like on time. I was late today. But I also have this belief where I'm like, you guys expect me to show up late. So I don't know. There's like weird little things. But for other, like getting my kids to school on time and stuff like that. Tell different stories. Like manifesting doesn't have to be just about financial, love, and career. It can be about all the little things to remove the anxiety and stress from your day. All right. Enough of that. Let me get back up to the list. Katrina, what are your questions? And then Cindy, what are your questions? You guys can just put them both in. Christine, if you happen to be watching this, I cannot. I don't know what I did not understand what you wrote. So funny that you're talking about houses today. My dream house was just listed for sale. Lady, I've had a feeling when I pass this house that it's our family long term. Is it aligned with timing now? I actually do feel like it will. So what's interesting is like, there's a weird thing where I get it will, but then also there's a time gap between it. So I don't know if it takes a long time to close on. I'm going to say this. I feel like somebody else puts an offer in on it, and it's going to seem like it's under contract. or another offer will be accepted and it's under contract, but then it ends up being yours. So perhaps you lean into the like, somebody gets their offer in before you, and then you decide circumstances don't matter. And I'm going to lean into like, this is my house. I know this is my house. Like everything works out in my favor because I feel like financially you can afford it. I don't feel like that's the issue at all. I feel like financially you're totally fine to go after it. This is kind of leaning into your general thing, as I feel like you're going to be getting a pay raise soon or an increase in income. A small increase in responsibility, but it feels like increase in income. So I don't know if you've applied for something else, but that feels like it's like, to be honest, I don't know if this will happen, but I'm leaning towards the manifestations. I don't know. I mean, the only reason why I've started deciding like, oh, I know this is going to happen is because I've had so many little things happen lately where I'm like, holy crap, because I've been so focused on persisting with my thoughts. Like even in doubt, I'm like, nope, I don't care. And I just pushed out aside. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care what the story has always been, because that old story manifested stuff. And I'm deciding that's not it anymore. And so even though there's things where I know there's stuff happening behind, I can't see the 3D yet. I know that stuff is happening behind the scenes. I know it's fine. I know that thing is coming in and I know it's fine and I don't care. And like old interactions with people, I would have been like, oh my God, they probably think, and go to like the worst case scenario, or what an idiot I am, or like what's wrong with them. Like, and just going like, whatever, they totally like me. It's fine. Like, doesn't matter. Like I'm choosing to live in instead of delusional negative, like out of favor for myself, I'm choosing to live in delusional, totally in favor of me. I haven't applied for anything, but I'm thinking of applying for a fellowship that could lead to a job offer. It's due next week, but I'm procrastinating and have fears getting in the way. Okay. This is like when you're in community and I'm like, let me help you. When I say like, put out your manifesting stuff, like tell me what's going on. Let me help you, because you want somebody on your team who's like, all of this shit is possible. Like, I'm not going to tell you anything that's impossible. So share that in there and I will help you, please. I'm begging you. Listen, manifestations do feel delusional, but you know what else is delusional? Thinking that it's not possible, like automatically going, this is the work, nothing else, like, why is that an accepted amount of delusion of going to the negative, but the positive isn't, right? You're 1,000% qualified for that job and that fellowship, and could lead to the job. Absolutely. It leads to it. So I do feel like you'll get that. It's there. The energy is there for it. If I'm picking up on an increase in job, whatever, and an increase in pay, that's there. It's interesting to me because I feel like once you understand how, like, you are really, really, everybody's great at manifesting because you're doing it all the time. But I feel like you're an intentional manifester, and what's going to happen is you're going to get everything at once. So it's all going to or it's going to be like this giant quick snowball, like a like a blizzard. So like everything in a short time, I should say, maybe not like at the exact same time. That's pretty literal, right? But like in a short period of time. So I feel like baby, house, and I almost feel like and job, like everything. You did get a job increase in salary, but it was part of the yearly increase. This feels like something above and beyond that. It doesn't feel like just a yearly increase. Okay. It literally it felt like, I also feel like 6 weeks is important. I wanna say this, like, as far as all of this kinda culminating. So, like, of you sort of taking off and going, like, so over the next 6 weeks, you're gonna have enough little things kinda show up, then it's gonna take off. So have fun with it when you're practicing, right? So or when you're testing the universe, right? You looked at a picture of the house during manifestation. Lady. I'm telling you, so you can look at I mean, you can look at anything and, like, the visual and the mental thought process. Why couldn't that house be yours? Why is it delusional? Who cares if he believes or not? So in the community, I made the comment of like, let's not judge other people's manifestations because like that's not the place for this because just because you have a thought, but just because he has a thought process that it's not possible doesn't mean it isn't. I manifested tons of stuff and people are like, wait, what? I manifested several $100,000 income, like incoming money. It usually comes through Stu because, but I'll put specific numbers out there and then it shows up because that's the easiest way for it to show up because I still have thought processes around the difficulty with what I do. Like it only comes in small increment, all of that. But I mean, several $100,000 where I was like, and got big bonuses. So, because I was just like, oh, this happens. Like, that'll be a fun number. Let's see. So, just because he doubts it doesn't mean it's not possible. And the thing you'll start to notice is I don't like to look at it as like signs, but it does happen where I start to shift my perspective on how I notice my thought processes start to change around like what I want it, where I'm like, oh, why am I limiting the way this can come in? And then I'll start to see like either videos that talk about things that way, or I'll start to see stuff pop up around me that sort of validates. I'm like, oh, and I just love that I'm like, that's right. I've locked in that thought process. So I feel like it all comes together. I'm so excited for the day yes. And that's the other thing is like, I feel like in the manifesting community, they're like, you can't be excited about it coming in because then you're focusing on not already having it. I'm like, that's such a squishy, limited belief to be like, cause then it also puts you in the state of fear. Like, if I don't, then I'm getting it wrong. Well, then you are like, I get excited when I put an order in about the meal that I'm going to get. Cause I'm super excited to have it. Like, hell yeah. Cause I like the way it tastes. Like you can get excited about stuff. Like even you already know what's coming. Like it's done. You don't have to be like, I have it now. And if I don't think about it, having it now, like you don't have to be so rigid. Like I get excited. There's like a lot of stuff coming in and I'm so fucking stoked for it. And that's like, okay. Okay. So general, so I do notice something around your stomach. And I just feel like off, not quite right. And it doesn't feel like it's upper, like your upper gastric region. Um they're sort of showing me you focusing more on health and personal stuff. This is like over the next 4 weeks. This could be related to like if you have like Aries in your first house. I don't know if you do. I don't think you're in Aries rising. I'm not sure. You'd have to look that up. But it's like that, like Aries is in my first house. And I find that naturally, especially when I like look back at old astrology, I naturally fall into the lines of like these are the things that are happening here. Like right now with Saturn in Aries, like this is my Aries Saturn return. So last one was when Saturn was in Aries was on, I think, 96, 97. While I was going into college. I was in my first year, second year of college. And I had made a really big mindset around how I showed up. Like, I was like, I don't want to be the person that sits in a room full of people and feels totally lonely. So I was like, I made a huge effort to just always talk to people and like never allow anybody else to feel that way. So I was very kind of like, I had lots of groups of people that I hung out with. And people would be like, you say you like know everybody on campus. I was like, I mean, I know who people are, but it doesn't mean I'm like friends with all of them. Right. I have a core group of people, but, and I sort of, because I was like, never wanted anybody to feel lonely. That was like a mindset shift I had. Now I still have like a lot of other belief systems that were totally in the crapper, but like I noticed changing, right? There was big changes about how I showed up in the world. And so I have that right now. I'm getting to the point of view, but like, it feels like there's this point of view really looking at like, how am I showing up in the world? And how do I want to like move forward? And it feels like I'm really focusing a lot on self stuff right now. And this feels like heavily over the next 4 weeks. And it doesn't feel like I need to be in shape. It's sort of like an all encompassing purpose. Yeah, personal and health. I've been focusing on recently. Also, just started acupuncture this week. Stomach ache came up, getting treated on also amongst other things. So I'm going to look at energetically, and then the acupuncture might have a different little viewpoint, just depending on like I don't know, that's usually Chinese medicine, right? Or Eastern medicine. But so for me, solar plexus, which is like that that's like that where your sternum is, right? That's how you relate to the world, how the world relates to you, and self-esteem. I don't feel like you have a self-esteem issue. It sort of feels like, how do I want to interact with the world, and how do I want to show up? And so that's interesting to get the stomach stuff there. I do feel like it's sort of connected to. It's funny. I keep getting spinach, so I don't know if you have a lot of spinach in your diet. Um, Maybe getting the iron and nutrients in a different form, because maybe I'm like focusing on spinach because I need iron. So maybe like leaning into getting a little bit more of heme iron versus non-heme iron. Non-heme iron is your plant base. Heme iron is your animal base. You actually need less of it through animal, because you tend to digest and absorb heme iron better than non-heme iron. Um, I just honestly, like, I know it's like, it's sort of the two questions sort of meld together, because I do feel like this more empowered feeling, like a fire in your belly around like feeling more in control of your life. Um, a lot of people will fall into doing things like eating disorders out of lack of control, right? So I have something to control and it feels like, and I'm not saying you had one, it's just this idea of like, I'm into this like new, of like, oh, wait, I have more power than I realized. It's like this invigorating feeling. I know I've had it lately where I'm like, like I was saying on Friday while I was doing the astrology thing where she was talking and teaching about the new moon and like all the different planets, that I was like, yeah, I just feel like, I said, I've been writing these now. And I actually, when I was writing them, I was writing so many different things from so many different topics where I was like, all the things I'm, bringing in. And at a point I was like, cause I'm writing some of them as I am, some of them as how people show up. But at a point I was writing the I am so much. And I was like, I am. And I was like, that I am, which is that like when God, when they're like, well, how should I present you? What name are you? It's to tell them I am that I am. But it was like really embodying that energy. And it was so powerful. And I was like, holy shit, like that's what that is. It's not just this like outside concept. It is fully embodying it. You do eat spinach and smoothies almost every morning. Just try and take that out and see if you feel a difference. Because you can get that iron and the vitamins, like green leafy, any green leafy would be great. And so lean into maybe doing like a shard or um what's the one that starts with a B? There's one that's a B. Bok choy or something like that. they're a little different, but and then get some of the vitamins and then iron in a different way. Also, if you're taking an iron supplement, take it with vitamin C because it helps. Even if you're doing that, you want to have some kind of C in there to help you absorb the iron, and also switch back, maybe even cut back to every other day. Because you actually absorb iron if you're doing a supplement better if it's every other day than every day. There's studies somewhere on that. Okay. And then Cindy, what are your questions? You're very welcome. And really and truly, when I went sometimes Cindy's emails me and she'll tell me stuff that's going on. She's like, he said he wanted to do this. I was like, and just because somebody says they want to do something doesn't mean it's going to happen that way. I was curious about my financial recovery after unexpected expenses. You're going to be fine. It's like literally I feel like with you the way money comes in, it's like it goes out but it comes like in a tidal wave back in, and I don't know how it's coming in because I'm like, even when I was trying to go like where they're like there's an unexpected financial gain like through your business, I'm like, how does that even happen? And it's like my own logic brain is like questioning it, and it's sort of like, go back, itchy face, go back and remember that it doesn't matter. It's like I feel like getting money in unexpected ways that flows back to you easily, and it feels like somehow it balances out too through the divorce. You're manifesting during this life. Yay. I mean, you're always manifesting, right? It's consciously doing it is what you want. You want to move into the consciously manifesting what you want instead of feeling like all these things just happen. I don't understand. And it's like, no, like my tagline has forever been empowering your journey. And I didn't realize until, and I've been doing these for 18 years, my website with the tagline I've had for, I think I started that in 2013. I have to go back and look at my friend who asked my friend. She would know. She's the one who helped me build it. The initial one, the original one. You always recover financially. So if that's what you're saying, then obviously it's going to happen, lady. And I feel like quicker. So I'm getting a 6. I don't know if that means 6 days or 6 weeks, but it feels like you're fine. Or maybe on the 6th of May. But it feels like you're fine. Like that's a no-brainer. I think also one thing I've been doing is I get readings sometimes. It's not like I don't, because I sort of want to look at the shift in it, but I've been really leaning heavily on like not doing that and being like, nope, I'm just going to persist with my thoughts. I'm just, and so maybe I'm working myself out of a job here, but I feel like I would rather you never come to me again for psychic reading, because I'm just reading the energy, and come to me and talk to me about manifesting. How would you think about this? How would you get this to come in? And it's not that I just want to do manifesting, but I want to teach you how to do intuitive work, and I want to teach you how to do manifesting. And I also do love doing connecting with animals and spirit and people in spirit and doing, that stuff. But like, you notice that your answers aren't just straight, here's what it is. Because I don't know. I think we're bigger than that. I think we're more powerful than that. And I think we should have room for that. All right, quick card. Ask me your second question. And then let's do some card readings, because we want to try and get outside. It's still cloudy. Let's see if the weather's. Oh, we're under a freeze watch. Well, we'll just bring umbrellas and coats. Okay. You were manifesting my ex agreeing to the child support as requested. Of course he does. The early settlement panel is going to happen, and whether we settle before then. You'll settle before then. I don't feel like right before then. I almost feel like the energy from him is like he's pushing to see how much he can get. I feel like his counsel is advising him your requests are reasonable, but it feels more like just what he has done in the past. So what is the 27th? That date is coming up. It's important. 27th is a Monday. So yeah, I feel like probably by the 27th or that day, something like that. Yeah, not even just like it's you agree and move that this is a completely fair amount of money and that this is the best for everybody and that you're such a good dad and I mean, you know that this is perfect for your kids. And just keep persisting with it and don't let any, like, even when the little doubts show up, you're going to be like, yeah, I know, I get that. And also, he's a really good dad and he really likes to provide for them. Not even be a good dad. You are a good dad. That's what you are. You are a good dad. Right. I mean, I get that, like, there's all kinds of stories around what we have around our beliefs around people and experiences that are in life. And maybe cutting the cord isn't so much about like, right? It's about cutting the cord to that version of that person and creating a new cord that's healthier and better. And maybe some people see this as spiritual bypassing. I don't know, but it works. All right. Who wants card readings? We'll do quick because then I got to go. I've got Trust Your Vibes, My Dragon Path, Enchanted Map, Women in Myth, Inner Child, the Moon one, the Woodland Animals, Green Witch, Spirit Animals, Voice of the Souls, Past Lives, Wisdom, and the Crystal. What do y'all want? Hi, Violets. How are you? The Moon one for Cindy. Oh, wait, sorry. The Moon one for Regine. Voice of the Soul for Cindy. There was someone last week that I said I read for them. Oh, God, I hope it's not Christine. And I was like, I missed it. There was someone. Oh, it was Violets. The Enchanted Map. Okay. Because I didn't read yours, you please pick two, and I'll do two for you. Or was it vanilla? Yeah, okay. Okay. So if you want to pick a second one, you can do a second one. Okay, so let's go first with Regine. And then if somehow I skip over somebody and I don't, because I'm not writing it down today, just tell me. And I will be happy to adjust it. Okay, so this is for Regine. What does Regine need to know today? Okay, this is asking me to cut it this way. So, all right, you got the waning moon, and it says, what do you need to release? Oh, that's interesting. And the next one, of course, I look at it, it's like, just as a, this is this one. It says, nothing is yet set in stone. And then this is, what do you need to release? Waning moon. I will read that one. Says the waning moon points to what's falling away. Life goes in cycles, and sometimes we need downtime or to let go. No matter when the moon cycle you no matter when in the moon cycle you pull this card, it's a sign that a situation has peaked for better or for worse, and it's time for you to go easier. It's the autumn and the winter of the cycle. So what do you need to release? Almost certainly something from the situation you're asking about. This card can be very positive, but it can still be gently suggesting that you let go and stop trying so hard. Oh, wait, what did I just hold up? What was the card I held up before? That was like nothing. Oh, okay, never mind. I'm going to get to that. Sorry. Attuned to the moon, it's safe to let go and move on. Additional meaning for this card: move forward with as little resistance as possible. This is not the time to start new projects. Releasing emotional baggage is recommended now. Say sorry to someone, do energetic work such as meditation or yoga. Soon you will see what lies ahead. The teaching: at the time of the waning cycle, take a moment to look up in the skies every night. You will see the moon growing smaller and smaller as she moves from full to new again. It's the time when things are falling away. It's certainly not the time to cling on to anyone or anything. Drawing this card suggests your situation is in its autumn and winter phase. So hunker down and start the regeneration process. So the other one was like, what did it say? What did the other one say that I held up? No, I can't remember. I need to find it. Hang on. Where was it? Oh, it was something like it was basically circumstances don't matter. So sort of stop trying to decide the how things are going to happen or how you're going to make it work or whatever. Just like let it go. Trust that everything falls together and that everything, like intuition wise, everything will come together. It's not set in stone. So trust that, like, it doesn't matter what it looks like right now. Thank you. All right. Okay, that's that one. I think you were the only one who picked the moon. Voice of the soul for Cindy. And then violets and vanilla had another one. You're welcome. All right, Cindy, this is yours. For Cindy to know. Okay, hold on. Okay. Karma 16. Part of your energy carries the burden of your karma in two different ways. The first relates to what I consider as failures. I carry within me blocking memories related to our former lives, with what I didn't manage to build and or overcome. Yet I also carry all the wisdom we've built together, and which you don't always use. This is the second way. Today, I invite you to work with and understand your karma. I know what you have been, know who you have been to understand the beautiful person you are today. The point isn't to look for excuses for yourself or to hide behind your karma, but to discover your inner power. Become aware of the challenges and goals that are yours in this life. Using your method of choice, connect to your karma. Look at who we have been to take new steps towards inner transformation. Your spirit guides. You are in the energy in which you are invited to build something important, to find new independence and freedom. You've been receiving many signs about this for years. You have an idea when you were young. You had an idea when you were young. It was deep desire. It was a deep desire or project. You may even have talked about it to everyone all the time. But then, as some time went by, this idea faded away. You became conditioned towards what you thought was best for you or what others expected of you. Today, you have been reminded about memories from the past. You may come across childhood photos or old documents as if by accident. Conversations with family members may reconnect you to old memories. We are sending you these signs so you may remember your old desires and needs to create. They are to help you with confidence in yourself and be daring. Turn your dreams into realities. The statement, "It's too good to be true," it just isn't true. You are capable of giving your best life if you want to. The entity. In my last incarnation, I repeated old patterns, karmic patterns. I wasn't really aware of this karma, so I didn't understand what I was experiencing. It was like being afraid in life. I was afraid of what life could bring me. It was like I struggled against life. This may have affected your relationships with others or even with you. Today, I'm aware that it's karma and I understand the meaning of what I experienced. I feel more serene about it all. In my next existence of Earth, I know I'll do the things differently. Why am I struggling to read right now? Sorry. You may remember my life's hardship, which you may feel was unfair. Release these emotions and feelings. Now I am free. I wish you the same freedom. I no longer have any anger in me, but I can feel yours. I don't feel like this part relates to you at all. I feel like the other stuff did. So I'm not even going to finish this. It's not for you, blah, blah, blah. I just don't feel like that part's for you. Sorry. I don't feel like it's a past life karmic thing. I think it's really just like we talked about. You're entering into a creative era. I love that. Then vanilla and spice, violets first and then vanilla. And then violets wants women in. Okay. So it's this one. Okay, so we'll do violets, then vanilla, then violets again. Oh. Yes, this is right. Okay, so vanilla, then violets. Flying, 20. Looks like a Pegasus. This one actually came out like this, just so you know. So we're going to do it that way because there's upright and reversed here. When you see the flying card reversed, it is a gentle reminder that there are times to take flight and times to remain grounded. And for now, you must avoid overreaching. There is still work to be done before you earn your wings. Be patient. What you seek will not be out of reach forever. Remember the story of Icarus in Greek mythology, whose wax made wings and overconfidence brought him too close to the sun. He perished because he didn't realize his limitations. Humility is a great power, and now you must exercise it. Doing too much, too fast, too soon only serves to prevent a beautiful flight later on. I often think about, when people are in this like kind of growth mode spiritually, right? So they've figured things out, or even in businesses, and they're like, but it's like there's nothing right now. It feels slow. And I'm like, it's okay. There's like growth in the chill. So it just feels like you're in that time, and just to be okay with that. Okay, so this next one is for violets. So that one was for, I'm sorry, that was for vanilla, because I think that's what I said at first. And then this one will be for violets, and because I messed up the order, but I said vanilla at first on that one. I have to go soon because I have a child who's starving, apparently. Starving. Okay. Okay, so that one is for vanilla. This one is for violets. Sorry. even though I said it the other way and you guys wrote it the other way. Does anybody want to go back and make sure I'm not crazy? Violets, I wonder if you have a thing of like not being seen or getting overlooked, and you don't feel like you're angry about it, but I wonder if there's not a belief system there that like I always get overlooked or I kind of always get passed by. People always get things before me. So this one is intentional for violets. I think the other one I said for vanilla, whatever. This is also, are these all, hang on, let me see something. No, okay. I was like, are these all one way and I'm shuffling upside down? But no, these aren't. This one came upside down as well, reversed. And it says come together, number 8. And I think I read this one. 2 people pulled out last week. You do have it. See? This is why it keeps, you got to shift that. People always see me. I never get missed. It's impossible. I'm so unforgettable and amazing. It's impossible for people to pass over me. Okay, so this is reversed. When the come together appears reversed, it is a sign that perhaps your love connection is unbalanced. Is intimacy being withheld from you, or are you withholding it from another? Longing and yearning are often mistaken for love, when in fact they are signs of lack. Perhaps you have been doing all the emotional work and pouring water into an empty well, to the point that now you are so depleted. Know this: true love is not being denied. What is truly for you, you will never walk past you or require this much energy. Drop the agendas, the fight, and the need to win, and allow love to flow through you. True love will always find its reflection in another. It doesn't even have to be romantic love or you, whatever. It can be about you refusing to receive love and kindness. And love can show up in not romantic ways. It can show up as like being seen and validated. I got your text message. I will be up in just a few minutes. I know. I understand. Go on. I will. I am. My boss can't yell at me. Life is loving. That's not how I do these. If I did an oracle card reading between that, then like that's like, remember, this is just a what do you need to know right now? Yeah. So I'm also trying to do things where I say like I receive gifts from the universe easily. I receive things easily. And what's interesting is like I'm seeing it show up in small ways because I've not always been a good receiver, quite frankly. So this one is also for violets. And then I'm done because I've got to go. My boss yelled at me. She sent me a text. I didn't listen to the text. Now she's yelling at me. So pick an oracle deck quick. Life is loving because I really, no, I'm not picking the deck. Sorry, friend. This one is for Violet since I missed her last week because she has that viewpoint. I'm being passed over. Oh, shoot, I'm gonna die. I'm not gonna die. I know, seriously. Just I don't know. Life is loving. I'm actually you have to wait till next week. My boss has put the kibosh on me doing any more work. My free time is over. My fun is done. All right, so this is for violets. Mami Wata, goddess, the offer. Foundation, building compassion and teaching. Her story: a warrior, a shaman, Mama Huaco, had influential religious and governmental duties as a leader of the Inca people and founder of the capital city, Cusco. Card meaning: you may feel unsure where to turn for comfort, support, or wise counsel. Don't be afraid to ask for help, but know that over-relying on others for advice and experiencing competing voices can also be confusing. Her advice: seek out the wise counsel of a trusted friend, advisor, or elder. Think of someone you can confess your worries or troubles to, and someone who can offer kindness, compassion, and lessons from their own life. Experience, even if it's not your own, is a great teacher. You know what? Life is loving. I'm gonna just bounce out for today because she's needs me to go. She's been very patient. I've been here almost over 2 hours. What is the deck, please, with Mommy Wata? It's the this one, the Women of Myth Oracle deck. The receiving part. Yeah. I mean, some of us forget that it's not that it's like you'll get the stuff that you want in life and the manifestations you're having, and you'll start to show up in small ways. And then you forget to learn how to receive it. So like if you're manifesting abundance, remember that that's going to start coming in smaller ways, like getting a discount or a little freebie. Like I got something, Amazon shipped me something that I didn't order, but I can definitely use. It's like a really nice sunblock with like a tint, a face tinted. And I showed my friend, I was like, oh my God. She's like, I literally just ordered that, but like not from Amazon. Cause I was like meaning it wasn't an accident. And then I ended up like going back into returns from CVS because it was like nail polish, and got an additional and like rebuying it because I was like, oh, I have all these coupons and stuff that are going to expire. And so it was like an extra $20 off. That's a way of receiving abundance. So allow yourself to receive that. Anyways, okay. Have a great day, and I will see y'all next week.